The next one is going to be Swamp Thing. The film will investigate the dark origins of Swamp Thing. How do you feel about Swamp Thing?
Not a fan.
Same. I'm not. I only have Swamp Thing because one of my friends gave it to me at one of my old jobs. I remember.
So I remember a show, right?
The swamp is my world. It is who I am. It is what I am. I was once a man. I know the evil men do. Do not bring your evil here. I warn you. Beware the wrath of Swamp Thing.
I remember
Is it a
there being
show?
a Swamp Thing live action series.
I don't remember that.
And like as a very young kid, I remember watching it sometimes. I remember some bad movies, and I remember watching those. Um, but
I
that's
mean, the
like,
only thing I know about it about this Swamp Thing is that I'm excited that they're gonna do a. It's gonna be done by James Mangold. And for those who don't
really?
know, James Mangold,
Huh.
he's in the running to direct Swamp Thing, and he is the director of such films: Ford v Ferrari, 310 to Yuma, The Wolverine, and Logan. I love all those movies, so I'm like, okay, I am. I feel if last I heard he was in the running, he was talking in talks or negotiations to direct it.
You love Wolverine, the Wolverine?
I would be facetious. I love. I'll two thirds of that movie. I love two
I
thirds of
like,
the Wolverine.
listen, I like the Wolverine more than most people. That's why I was just like, you love that movie? Like, I
I
like it more,
love two-thirds of
but
that movie.
yeah. Like the last act is atrocious,
It was
but
atrocious. It's horrible. Um. Oh, so all I know about Swamp Thing is that, and I have a couple issues that my friend gave me from my other drive, and Kevin Smith wouldn't shut up about him for a minute. Like, there's an issue where Batman he goes to Batman City. He goes to Gotham City and is tracking down some woman or whatever, and Batman fights him off or whatever, like he does, as Batman one tends to do, fights off all kinds of creatures. But I'm like, I don't like. I guess it's more cerebral, more kind of like more introspective, more like a study of the human condition. I'm like, I
mm.
don't want this in my freaking comic book entertainment. But it's James
Well,
Mangold,
it's
so we'll see.
also it's supposed to borrow very heavily from the horror genre.
Okay, and I'm not a horror fan. I don't like being scared, so I'm probably gonna pass on this one.
Yeah, I wonder, like, I wonder really, like, what that kind of means. Like, how far are you gonna lean into this? Like, does horror mean R for you guys? Like, where is the like? We know with Disney where the line lies because we grew up watching Disney movies, right? Like, we
Right.
know what feels like a Disney movie. So we know on some level how far or not how not far Marvel is gonna be pushed, right? Like
Right.
DC, like we don't have that limit, right? Like we don't have like they literally made a freaking Justice League movie where Wonder Woman chops a dude's head off. Freaking like you know what I mean? It's like there's no line. So it's like they literally like when he says horror, he could actually mean that this is a horror movie. You know what I mean? Like a straight up horror movie. They're WB, they're not Disney. Like they can just make a horror movie, a horror superhero movie if they want, you know?
I mean, would you count Constantine as a superhero, like a horror superhero movie?
I don't feel like that's a horror movie. I mean, but that feels like a superhero movie to me. But they didn't bill it as a horror movie. You know what I mean? This he said this is gonna be a horror movie.
Yeah, I can't do horror. Like, I don't like being scared. Like, I just saw, I saw Cocaine Bear last night, and I saw trailers, like three trailers were back to back, like Evil Dead, and something else, and the horror movie. Like, I don't like being scared. I don't like people scaring me. I don't want to watch. I don't enjoy it, so I'm not gonna see it. Now, if I was on a date, probably, but no, I don't. I don't like being scared. I don't like horror movies.
But see, that's just what I mean. It's like, like James Gunn? What do you mean when you say horror movie? Like, is it superhero horror movie? Like what you just said? Like, is it Constantine? Is it Constantine level? You know what I mean? Like, it's just horror inspired. Like, but this is, you know what I mean? This is more of a superhero movie. You know what I mean? Or action movie. You know, however you feel about Constantine. Or is it a horror movie? Am I watching freaking Insidious, like with superhero characters? You know what I mean? Like,
The
am I
Omen.
watching like The Exorcist or something? Obviously not there. It's Swamp Thing. You know, it'd be more of a monster affair.
Mhm.
But I mean that I don't know. I'm not super into Swamp Thing, but you know, I don't know. It could be cool.
I mean, I might. It depends how scary it looks, how much I can handle it.
I don't like gross things either, and Swamp Thing is pretty gross looking.
Like I don't like people getting chopped up or murdered, or gore. I like gore. I don't like yeah, gross things like Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom. That's kind of gross.
It's
I
kind
can deal with the psychological thriller. That I can deal with. Like Omen, I can deal with that. But it was just like the fact that it's Antichrist. I'm Catholic. I'm like 6, 7, 8 years old. So I'm like, oh my god, the Antichrist movie. And I was just like, so unless it's that, then I don't know if I can watch it at all. Swamping
it's
into
over
Antichrist.
you, Swamp Thing.
Dude, who would name their parent? What parent in the right mind would name their kid Damien? With
Bruce.
that connotation, right? I mean, dude, and then Creed 3 is coming out, and the main villain is also called Damien. I'm like, who would name the kid that? Who does that?